So yes, welcome to my actually first session. I did another one in 2018 with two other developer colleagues, but yeah, this is my first single session. I'm really happy that you are here and listening to the true life experience of a content editor. We are only as good as the system is. And yeah, going on. So my agenda for the day will be, I talk a little bit about me, my tasks, then 4 major topics with missing flexibility in the system, why not involve content editors from the process right from the start, where does development end and content editing start, with components and hidden surprises, and yeah, a little bit end of Q&A, I hope. So yeah, let's start with actually me. I'm Kerstin, I'm working for Kokomore, and my background is I started actually working as a florist, being more creative and doing a lot of stuff with my hands because I'm very good with it. And then I thought about, okay, what else is there outside in the world? So I studied color design for a few years. I really loved that, had a lot of experience, learned all the Adobe products, and went then on to the World Wide Web with learning how to, I wouldn't say code, but let's say the basics of HTML, CSS. By that time, Flash was even a thing, so I did a training in Flash as well, but then it died off right after. And yeah, then I switched to work in my current company as a content manager for a few years. I had then the idea to create the quality or the QA department in our company because it was missing, and it was a huge success for me that I was able to integrate it into the company and all into the work because we were missing it so much. But in the end, I found out that it's not the right job for me. So I switched back to working as a content manager, and I'm doing this ever since. And in the Drupal community, I'm started 2014 to organize some camps, and then went to every Spanish camp I could go because we have a lot of lovely colleagues there and a lot of DrupalCons. And since then I love Drupal, and so that's why I'm here and talking to you about my new session. Then this is actually my task I do as a content editor. I think it might be interesting for you. So I'm taking care of a lot of Drupal websites at the moment, like -+15. I do classical content editing and time estimations, task coordination, client support, documentation, SEO. I'm onboarding, and I'm putting out a lot of fires so that you have a small overview what I actually do. And then before I start going into the topics, I would like to tell that if people were maybe part of the topics I will talk about, it's not my intention to offend anyone. It's just my experience, how I experience it as a content editor. And so please have mercy, who might find these topics. So then this is actually me, not green, but I feel like this while I'm working a lot of times because there are a lot of Drupal websites I'm taking care of, and every system is unique with different components, functionalities, and configurations. And when people asking me questions, I really have to be very quick and remember what is actually special about this system. And so I'm kind of wouldn't say multitasking, but my brain works very fast when switching projects. But it's also interesting. I really like that it's so different at some point. And in one of my projects, I encountered a problem which leads me to this topic, the flexibility that is missing in the system. And I like to tell you about one of my projects we had this year, I guess, at the beginning. We had to actually create a website from a magazine, or actually it was a print agency that did designs for our website, which were non-compatible with the components I have. or I had. And when I was looking at the designs, which you can see on the left side, I was like, okay, is this a different website? How the hell should we do this? And then we had to analyze, or I had to analyze what is actually possible with the system and work together with a designer to, yeah, make the impossible possible, kind of, to realize these designs with the components and content types we had. And I had a lot of discussions because the designer is just scrolling over the page and sees, okay, on this page it looks like this, let's do it like this. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, this content type doesn't have this component. It's only like we see on this page and that page. So I really felt like a bad cop all the time because I had to say no. And guys, we have to do it this my way and how the system is. And we can't afford to ask the developer. We have no time, we have no budget. And this was like one of my hardest projects to in discussion, so that we can kind of go to have the result at the end. And you can see it on the right side. It looks almost like it, but yeah, it was a lot of hard work behind it. And in the end, I was really proud that I managed to do that. But yeah, this was one of the hardest examples. And then I'm moving on to the next slide. Yeah, why not involve content editors in the development process right from the start? Yeah, would you use your own stuff? This refers actually to the back end. And from my experience, what I actually saw is that developers don't really create context sometimes, like helper text, or I'm missing a lot of fields. For example, the meta title or descriptions fields, which I actually do from the beginning, sometimes even the URL alias, which was missing. I was like, okay, guys, how should I work with this? So yeah, I just want to point out that maybe think about it. Would you use your own stuff or back office when it were to manage your favorite app like Instagram or Spotify? This might be helpful. And yeah, usability is kind of everything, not only in the front end, also on the back end. And we could actually avoid that by working together in before a project starts, and doing requirements together. And this would actually be a great thing, I think. So next topic will be where development ends and content editing starts. This is actually, from my opinion, where content editing starts is when your login is working. The back office is really easy to understand. It's really obvious how to create content. You have no permission issues, which I had a lot in the past, which is like a thing in Drupal, I think. Yeah, the documentation is available. You don't have to search through a lot of tickets to find information. No workarounds are needed, which is also sometimes a huge thing that you have to do. So many extra steps to get to the point or to get to your goal. And you actually don't have to ask the dev for help. This is like the last thing I would do. When I'm just shouting out for help, like, please, devs, help me, just explain how this works so I can do my work. And yeah, so some projects came really close to this ideal, but some projects I really had to, like, I almost cried, really. It was like, sorry, but I can't do my job. This is not obvious. I don't know what to do here, so please just bring me some help. And then on the other hand, as a content editor, what you can actually do to make your job easier and to make it easier to work, that you have to actually estimate with a lot of assumptions when you do estimations for your project. Then always be curious about the jobs the other departments do. Talk to the designers, the copywriters, the project managers, the developers, and gain knowledge about what they are actually doing, so you can do your work better at the end. And question the requirements, very important. That's what I always do. When I take a look at how a project is built, I'm kind of sneaking in. It's like, guys, no, just do it. Let's do it differently. And yeah, don't be afraid to raise your voice if you see already that some issues might occur later for you. And even if you tried all this and it won't work, just stay calm and work with what you have and make the best out of it. And sometimes even the impossible possible. That would be my advice. So then we almost got to the last point, the components with hidden surprises and trying to make them possible. I show you some examples. I know this is a lot of text, but these are all examples I had in my real life. And I just like to point out a few, but you can maybe read through it. But in the meantime, I think the most craziest thing I had was when I had to edit content in a page which wasn't ready developed. The front end was still missing. They were still working on the theme. And I had to blindly put in content and kind of figure out which component is actually looking like what, and trying my best to do something. And it was really crazy when you just save the page and it is completely destroyed. It's like, okay, I'm doing content management. I'm not seeing what I'm doing, but let's hope everything works out. And in the end, we prepared very well and it worked out. We just had to do some reworks, but yeah, this is like a typical example. Or when a deployment happens and you have to do the same teaser rework after you finish the rework you did before, after the last deployment, and you have to start again. Okay, again, great. Love to do things twice, which we actually have to do sometimes. But yeah, and then German URLs being smashed because the system is creating the the URLs automatically, and our U's, A's, and U's are totally not able to work with the URLs. So yeah, and there are many more topics, but I just wanted to point out a few of my experiences. Then another topic is, this is like usual that I find bugs after after things are on production. So what I had to do here to find out why the teaser image is so distorted, I had to analyze the page, the components surrounding this component, then replace it with a different image, recreating the teaser from scratch, but you never know, maybe it works. And then I changed the text. And that was the solution, that the component had actually too much text inside, which you would never guess because there's a lot of space there. And all these issues slipped through all the other departments and just were found by me while I was working in production. This is also very classical. And then when you created an English page and then change just the words to German, it doesn't mean that it works. So you can see here the compared solutions for it, that the German words are mostly too long and we have to separate them, but then it looks very ugly. So we have to do a lot of rounds to kind of find the perfect wording for this small space we have there. This is also very happening a lot. And then almost at the end, content editors, the people at the end of the line. And this is how I feel most of the time, when all of the people before you just use too much time and there's not much time left and you get the final version of the third version of the text and had to resize all the images and then can start work. But yeah, in the end, the go live date did not change and you have to really make the impossible possible to finish the whole page and work twice as fast as normally. And yeah, so this is how I usually feel. And it never changes. I don't know. We try to make it better every time, but yeah, some things are like this. So yeah, but I also think that it's fun to be a content manager. And the most important thing I discovered this year was when the first Drupal 9 project was on my desk and the Gene theme appeared, I almost cried. I was so happy to finally have something more advanced to work with. And I was running around, or actually not really running around, but writing around, thanking the devs and the PM to use this. And so I could finally save the page on the top and not scroll like 100 times. Yeah, so this was the most positive thing I had this year. And now actually we're at the end. This was my session about the experience of a content editor, and I hope you learned something. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Or the Q&A. Let me stop sharing this. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, should be included in core for sure. Oh, so many faces I know. It's so cool. I'm so happy to be at the DrupalCon. I was missing this so much. But yeah, feel free to reach me on Twitter or LinkedIn, and if you have any other questions. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to share my experience. I'm really missing it to go to the office of a developer and just asking questions about whatever comes to talk to mind. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, there is. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Diego. Meaning how the fields are arranged or labeled. Sometimes, so if someone thinks about it to ask me, then yes, I am. I had this in the past, but usually no. Usually I don't really get to know what is happening in the project in early stage, which I really don't like. But I'm working on it. I'm always shouting out to project managers, please involve me from the beginning. And yeah, so I hope that might change in the future. Are you using layout builder? Unfortunately not. I really like to, but it never appeared in one of my projects that I had until now. So I'm waiting for this. So I have a little bit of experience. I tried to learn something by myself, but not much. Okay, guidelines for developers. Guidelines for developers. We have, I think I did something like this before, but I'm usually creating something like content or component overviews with all the information for designers, for me, and yeah, but no, it's actually a good idea. Should do that. To build the whole page, we're using a component-based approach like paragraphs. Actually, I like the WYSIWYG editor if it allows styles. That would be mandatory for me, because usually I have links that I have to include into the text, but the default style of the color is really screaming in my face sometimes, and I can't change it because all the styles are filtered, and this is, yeah. But I really like the WYSIWYG editor to have some freedom to design there a little bit. No, I don't have permissions to edit blogs. It's always a huge thing with the permissions. In some projects I have more, and some I don't, and I'm really missing more flexibility there too, so that I can do more myself and learn actually more, and not the developers have to do all the configurations, because some things I could do myself and it's perfectly fine because I know Drupal already, but restrictions are here and there a little bit too much, I think. And of course, I know we shouldn't break anything, but this could be managed if we have like guidelines or talk about it. So I don't know, how late is it? Are we over the time already? Oh, yeah, I'm happy, kind of. But that's not really so much part of my work. So I never really think much about it. Just do it. Are we actually thrown out of the session? Or I'm not sure how this works. But okay. If there are no other questions, it's 11:20 now. I would just close it. It's, yeah, I really like the setting of the gin theme. It's much easier to use, and I even had new colleagues I had to onboard with it, and it was much easier for them to find stuff. Like intuitionally, it was really, really cool. And it saves, I don't know, it saves a lot of time, I think. It's better ranged. Like that you can change the colors, but I couldn't do that in mine. Okay. I think we have to stop here, right? I don't know. But yeah, you can reach me if you have any more questions. I really love to talk about this every time. I miss talking to developers, so please reach out to me. And then thank you very much for listening. And yeah, bye-bye.